guys, we're back. Had a little technical difficulties. I hope you guys can hear me now. We're on our weekly drive. We do this drive every Wednesday morning, actually. I figured I'd pop on, see what's going on. I hope everybody's getting their reps in, staying safe. Like I said earlier, I'm coming off a 2-day rest, and actually feels pretty good. And again, I said, I get, when I take those, when I'm off for a couple of days and I don't do anything, I start getting a little anxious, a little panicky, like I'm falling behind. And but it really is a good thing, for the most part, especially if you're going heavy for any long period of time. Because like we said earlier, with the resistance training, especially the heavy stuff, we're really breaking down the muscle tissue, which is why the nutrition's so important, along with the rest, get that muscle protein synthesis going, so we can build back the muscle, bigger and stronger. So, all right, Gio, hitting those dumbbells, good. That's good. Good morning to Aldo, Crusades of Motivation. Aldo's a great tattoo artist and now an inventor. The inventor of the Cruise Hub. So make sure you check out his channel, guys, Aldo. He came out with a great invention that'll help you guys with doing your weighted pull-ups, and also you guys that have your muscle up, if you want to increase your reps with the muscle up, build some strength. Aldo came up with a nice, and what I think is an ingenious little device that you can carry with you. It's portable, bring it anywhere you go, and make some gains. So make sure you check out his channel. Good morning to Frankie with the wrench. Nobody better get out of line. Frankie's got that wrench at the ready. She's gonna use it. I promise you she'll use it. So yeah, guys, I just took a rest for a couple of days. I was getting very antsy. But so this drive that I'm doing now, I do this every week, actually, every Wednesday morning. And but I stopped at the gym prior to this drive because I was feeling a little stiff after not doing anything for a couple of days. I had a nice 30-40 minute workout, just some light stretching, some body weight stuff, just to grease the gears a little bit. And hopefully we'll hit the gym later tonight. Maybe get in a good bench session or some weighted pulls. We'll see. We're definitely going to get back in the groove today. Yeah, she's vicious with that wrench, George. We gotta keep these trolls in line. You know how it goes. No shortage of trolls. But we like the trolls too. It's all part of the process, dealing with the trolls. They just need a little TLC. They're scared. The trolls. They're lonely. They're craving attention. So we have to be somewhat understanding. But then if they get a little too out of control, we just got to cut them. Just like toxic people in our life. Like I talk about all the time, we got to cut out the stress, right? if people are that toxic, you just got to cut the cord. Just cut them out. We're going to take the same approach with the trolls. Yeah, that Sunday workout was a beast, guys. We did a workout on Sunday. Check out REPZ, his channel, REPZ. He's based out in Chicago, and he really named him. That's an appropriate name for this guy, because he's just, everything's high reps, and he hit us up Sunday on the GFTS show, and we did a push-up routine that amounted to 500 reps, and that was only half the workout because we had some time constraints going. But the 500 reps, he broke it up. We did them with a certain cadence, and then we did the shorties. You know, and the form police will tell you that shorties don't give you any benefit, which is a bunch of bullshit in plain English. I invite you to do the routine that we did on Sunday, and then tell me you don't get anything out of shorties. But yeah, make sure you check out REPZ. He's got a lot of great routines. Well, Aldo knows, because Aldo has done other workouts with him. But and I've done several of his routines over the past couple of years. They work. They work, and they're very intense. So that's why we talk about it. I mean, full range of motion, partial range of motion. There's a place for all of it. There's definitely a place for all of it. Heavy weights, light weights, body weight, everything works. Everything works if you're consistent with it. Rough ride so far this morning, guys. Every asshole and his brother is on the road. All right, Gio, appreciate you being here, brother. Stay safe. Appreciate you wielding that wrench too, always. Even though, like I said, we love the trolls. Just like Aldo loves burpees, we love the trolls. But every once in a while, they gotta feel the wrath of that wrench. Loves burpees. That's it. It's the mindset too, right, brother? You got to have the right mindset. It's your attitude. It's your attitude about things that sets the tone for your day and your week and your month and really your whole life. It's the attitude, and it's hard. It's hard to have a good attitude all the time, for sure. But like I always say, if you're keeping yourself healthy, keep yourself nice and healthy. Work on your health every day. Do something to better your health. Keep yourself healthy every day. You do have a whole different perspective on life, and it will give you a different attitude, a more positive attitude for the most part. You're not going to wake up every day feeling good, but why would you purposely put yourself in a position not to feel good every day by being unhealthy and destroying your health? I think think that's one of the big mysteries in life, that people have this. They have their health, the most precious commodity on earth. They're handed, and they willingly give it away. Yet you try and damage their car, their house, their bike, their jet ski, any one of their material possessions. You try and damage that, and they'll fight you to the death. And then they willingly give up their health. They do it to themselves over and over every day. What's up, Asia? Howdy to you. Yeah, Aldo's 100% right. It's the same fight every day for most people. But you know what? It's worth fighting. It's worth getting up every day and fighting. If you won't fight for yourself, if you won't fight for your health, what else is there? Again, like I said, you take any of your material possessions and you'll fight somebody to the death to stop them from damaging it. And it really is a twisted mentality if you think about it. But I think the reason is, you go pay money for your material things and you think that they're valuable, and your health, we just keep putting it off, thinking, I'm still young, I still feel okay, I'm still in relatively good shape. But we fail to realize that the damage usually starts on the inside, and it takes time. It takes years to manifest until you start paying the price for the unhealthy habits. But you don't see it right away. You don't bite into a Hershey bar and gain 30 pounds. But over the course of 3, 5, 10 years, you keep eating those Hershey bars, drinking that soda, that 30, 40 pounds is going to appear. And then the diabetes is going to appear. Then the heart disease years after that, and it just keeps compounding. But if you saw the results of your bad habits immediately, I think most people, I would imagine, I would hope that most people would take action before that. Aldo, what are you doing with a jet ski in Omaha, Nebraska? I thought you only had rollerblades. Where are you driving that jet ski around Omaha? And it's funny because a lot of people say, I'll start, they put it off. I'm going to start January 1st or whatever, or next Monday, the following Monday. They keep putting it off as if they have all the time in the world. And then when you tell them, well, just exercise 20 minutes a day, 30 minutes a day, they say, I don't have time. But they live their life as if they're going to live forever. They act like they have unlimited time. And then when you tell them to put the time into their health, they say, I don't have time. And it's too complicated. When it comes to nutrition, people, they refuse to put the time in to learn how to eat, what to eat. But I make the comparison, you look at the numbers and I brought it up because I know so many people that do it, and guys I worked with over the years. This fantasy football, all these fantasy sports, and the key word there being fantasy. It's a fantasy. You're not doing anything. You're living vicariously through these other athletes, through these finely tuned athletes that are getting paid millions of dollars, and you're acting as if you're part of the club. And these guys put in hours upon hours every week, pining over stats. How many yards did this guy get? How many touchdowns did this guy throw? And they'll tell you, they'll quote you these stats. And then when it comes to what they should be putting in their mouth, they just shrug their shoulders. Well, I don't know. I don't know. But you'll spend all these hours all throughout the week on your fantasy football. Fantasy, I'm going to keep saying that word, fantasy football. And then every Sunday, you'll sit in front of the TV from morning till night, eating and drinking until you're ready to explode, cheering these clowns on, hanging on every play, on every pass, on every run, as if something mattered. It's meaningless. It's meaningless. And you put so much time and energy into it. Put the time and energy into yourself. I'm not saying you can't have a pastime. You can't have some downtime to relax and veg out a little bit. But if you're doing it at the expense of your health, it's absolute madness. It's madness. And now we're a week away from Halloween, right? And for you guys that are in the States, I mean, that's the start of, I mean, for most of us, life is a pig fest. A lot of gluttony going on and stuff like that, and that's a fact. But you take Halloween, and then the holidays start, right? We have Thanksgiving coming, and Christmas, New Year's. And everybody, that's a license to just eat and eat until you have to unbutton your pants, until you're walking around with the sweatpants on so you don't have to button your pants. And it goes on and on for months. And the excuse is, well, it's the holidays. You're supposed to do it, and if you don't do it, you're not enjoying yourself, you're not living the full life. You're that whole deprivation thing, right? Like I talk about all the time. I'm depriving myself. If I don't go to the party, if I don't drink the booze, if I don't eat all the food until I'm sick to my stomach, well, then I'm not living a good life. Life's not worth living if I don't eat till I throw up. And then all the gym owners are sitting there licking their chops right now, knowing that all the memberships are going to come in starting right before Christmas, because, everybody's going to gift their spouses and get themselves a gym membership, thinking I'm going to start anew. I'm going to be a totally new person on January 1st. So all the guys that own the gyms are counting their money. And then you go to the gym for 3 weeks. By February 1st, 80% of the people that committed to it will never step another foot in that gym. So like I said earlier, I mean, there's nothing wrong with vegging out, having a pastime, going to a party. But at some point, you got to let your body cool down. You got to let your body heal. You can't keep beating it up. Right? You go out and buy a new car. You come home at night. You turn off the engine, and you leave the car parked. You let the engine cool down. You don't come home at night after driving a car all day, leave it in your driveway or leave it parked on the street, and put a brick on the gas pedal and let the engine rev all night and just keep working and working and working. There again, if I did that and tried to prevent you from taking that brick off the gas pedal, you'd fight me to the death. Yet you'll do that to your body. You'll eat all day, you'll drink all day, and then you'll come home and right before bed, you'll eat more and more and more and let your body work all night digesting all that shit. We got to get our health back, guys. We got to get our health back. I made the remark some time ago. I was over in New York City doing a workout in Manhattan, and like any big city, I mean, there's no shortage of homeless people. But you walk around and you see overweight homeless people. I was watching the news, and they don't normally show it, but one of the news feeds that actually showed the people that are pouring over the border, over the southern border, these migrants who are coming from quote-unquote poor countries, and they're walking into the United States overweight. So we went from a period when all we talked about was people not having enough food, starving to death, and now we're at a point where the whole world is pretty much eating itself to death. And that's not an exaggeration, because that's what's really happening. All of these chronic conditions that we have, the diabetes, the heart disease, the kidney disease, the liver disease, on and on and on. 90% of it is lifestyle. 90% of it, unquestionably, lifestyle. And people refuse to admit it. They absolutely refuse to admit it. They'll blame it on genetics because, of course, the doctors, they're always going to tell you it's genetics. And there's nothing you can do about it, and you buy into it. We just buy into the whole narrative. And when you try and talk to people, so many people, they just refuse. It's like talking to an addict, trying to convince an addict that they have a problem. They'll justify their actions, they'll justify their habit. They'll use any excuse. They'll lie, they'll exaggerate, they'll come up with all of these crazy excuses to justify their habits. And that's what we're doing with the food and the lifestyle. We are certainly addicted. And I'm not putting myself above anybody here. I'm addicted to comfort, convenience, and consumption. I love it. But you have to develop self-discipline. You have to learn to control yourself. You have to learn to control your habits, your impulses. especially the negative impulses. And we have a lot of them. And it takes practice, and it takes effort, and it takes work. And at the end of the day, most people are unwilling to do that because they're addicted to comfort. Change is uncomfortable. I don't like to change. Nobody likes to change. It takes work. But you have to do it for the sake of your health. And then everybody talks about, well, how do you stay motivated? And that's a tough question. I can't tell you what's going to motivate you. If you can't motivate you, if you won't do it for yourself, and I say this all the time, if you're single, you don't have a family, you didn't bring kids into this world, you don't have a dog or a cat or a gerbil or anything you have to take care of, and you're on your own, and you want to eat and drink yourself to death and play fantasy football, go ahead. That's your prerogative. But the minute you get in a position where somebody else, where you're responsible for somebody else's health or well-being, you damn well better get your shit together. And if you won't fix yourself for you, fix yourself for them. Especially if you have kids. Grow up. Be a role model. Do the right thing. You're not going to be 100%. Nobody's going to be 100%. And anybody that preaches 100% is a bullshit artist. But you have to teach these kids. It has to stop somewhere. The vicious cycle has to stop somewhere. And it's got to be with you. Sorry I was ranting there, little guys. Shout out to Scotland. How you doing, my brother? Martin, respect back to you. I appreciate you being here, brother. Hope you're doing well. Oh, Aldo, we have so many big boned people walking around today, you have no idea. Everybody's big boned. Everybody's big boned. It's the genetics. Be the role model, guys, especially if you have kids. If you have people in your life, or that dog or that cat, anybody that's relying on you, you better grow up. Stop your mamby-pamby bullshit. Exercise is hard. I don't know what to eat. Learn. Turn off the TV one Sunday. Don't worry about the football games because they'll still be there. They're not going away. Football games aren't going anywhere. Your fantasy bullshit football isn't going to go anywhere. They'll be there when you come back. Learn how to eat. Work on yourself. Self-development. Build self-discipline. It's going to build self-esteem. It's going to build good habits. And you're going to be better equipped for life in general, and you'll be better equipped to help the people that are relying on you for their well-being. Especially your kids. You bring those kids into this world, they're yours until you take your last breath. Never mind worrying about what kind of inheritance you're going to leave your kids, how much money you're going to leave them, how big of a house you're going to leave your kids. Teach them how to be healthy. You teach them that, they don't need anything else from you. So many people today basing they measure success by all the material things they have. I don't care how many zeros are on the end of your bank account, how many cars are in your garage, how many bathrooms and bedrooms are in your house. You have nothing without your health. Nothing. Zero. And it really does get tiresome to listen to, guys. It really does. We gotta grow up. We all do. Like I said, I'm not sitting here preaching to people as if I'm 100%. I ever was 100%. I wasn't running around like a drunk ape, abusing my body for years and years. But at some point, you have to have that. You have to just wake up. You got to wake up out of your stupor and say, "What am I doing? What am I doing to myself?" What am I doing to the people around me? What good am I to myself or anybody else if I'm fat, drunk, and stupid? I mean, it doesn't get any worse than that. Unless you're ugly. Everybody's impatient. Nobody wants to put the time in. Nobody wants to invest the time, the effort. That's why people are going to get their stomachs cut out. Every guy over 30 is looking to take TRT. People today are shooting Ozempic into their ass every month. Why would you not invest the time and effort into yourself? Anything that looks too good to be true is going to be too good to be true. These drugs, the exogenous hormones, crash diets, you just destroy your body even further. These medicines you're putting in your body, there's consequences, drastic consequences. Guys shooting up to you. I've worked with guys that were 30 years old, 32 years old, shooting TRT into their ass. What do you think that does to your body? You think your body's stupid? You're a 30-year-old guy injecting TRT? At some point, your body's going to say, well, I'm not going to make it anymore. So now you just made a lifetime commitment. How about stop doing the things that is causing your testosterone to be low? Spend every waking minute of every day learning how to raise your testosterone naturally, and you can do it. You can do it. But that's not convenient. It's much more convenient to go to some asshole doctor who will just give you the needle and say, take this, let's see how you do. And then you go back, and then all the doctor says is, how do you feel? Are you getting angry? Are you having any type of rage? Do you have acne on your back or anything? No? Okay, then let's keep it at that. And you'll keep doing, while you're injecting this stuff into your body, you'll keep doing the exact same things that cause your testosterone to tank to begin with. Make that make sense. they say, before you try and heal yourself, guys, ask yourself if you're 100% willing to stop doing the things that made you sick in the first place. And the sad, sad reality is most people aren't. Everybody starts working out, and the first question they ask, when do I get a cheat day? You haven't done a push, a pull, or a squat, or one bit of exercise, and your first question is, when do I get a cheat day? You're 50 pounds overweight. You've been living a cheat life. You've been cheating every single day of your life. How about you make some progress and then you worry about a cheat day? But again, that's an addict talking, because they're gripped with fear. I can't have my cookies. I have to go do exercise and sweat. I'm not used to that. It's uncomfortable. It's change. What am I going to do? So tell me when I can go back to doing what I've been doing, and I can be comfortable again. So that's what it is, guys. We have to learn just to be uncomfortable, to put the work in. You know, and I've never met a person that turned it around and put the effort in, put the time in, put the work, put the sweat, educated themselves, built new habits, turned things around, improved their health. Never met a person that did that and said, man, I'm sorry I ever started that. Or that wasn't worth the trip. That wasn't worth the effort. That wasn't worth being uncomfortable. Not one person. Now, unfortunately, there are a lot of people that do that, and then they wind up back where they were. And that's part of building the self-discipline. And it just goes to show the power of the addictions that we have. Because they're always there trying to pull us back. They're always there, every minute of every day. When we change our habits, We don't beat the old habits, the bad. They're always going to be there. They're always going to be there, looking to get right back in the mix. If you have a gambling addiction, a drinking addiction, any addiction, a drug addiction, it's always going to be there. Which makes it even more important to build these new habits and stick to them. Build the self-discipline, stick to the new habits. If you have the new habits locked in place, it's so much harder for those bad ones to weasel their way back in. Servant is in the house. How are you, brother? Good to see you. I hope you're still doing well. I hope you're still working. I don't know if you just heard me, but I was talking about building those new habits, right? And getting rid of those old ones. The old ones aren't never going to go away. They're always going to be there, ready to rear their ugly heads again. But if you build the new good habits, it's going to be much harder. Yeah, I'm in New Jersey. The trees are on the downside here. I'm moving south. I'm in New Jersey right now. I'm going south. So the trees are still somewhat colorful, but back up north where I live there, everything's getting grayed out. We're getting that late fall and winter look where everything is just bare looking. Good for you, brother. That's it. Practice that consistency. That's what's going to keep you going. That's what's going to make you succeed. Being consistent. That's what I like to hear. Good for you. That's a good point, Frankie. A lot of, people are addicted to one thing. A lot of times they'll replace it with another addiction. So, which makes it even more important to build that self-discipline and consistency and those new habits and keep them in place. Because it's great that we beat an addiction, or we beat it back to where it's not controlling us. But then if we let another addiction, we replace that with another addiction, we're back to square one. So I think, like Aldo said earlier, it's the same fight every day, but you have to fight it. You have to keep fighting. The minute you take the gloves off and give up, it's over. It's over. And the thing is, when people get so far gone, when they get the chronic conditions, the chronic illnesses, and they put on so much weight, and it just You just feel helpless. You reach that point where, well, what's the sense? But again, you know, it takes so long to get to that. For most people, it's that point of no return. And we keep, like I said, we live like we have, like we're all going to live forever. I'll put it off until when? I'll put it off till January 1st. I'll put it off till next Monday, the next Monday, the next Monday. You just keep putting it off. Yeah, it is cold up here. Well, the past couple of days has actually been pretty warm, but we're going to get back to reality, I think, tomorrow or the next day. We're going to get nice and cold. So the fall is definitely here, without a doubt. But we did have a little bit of a reprieve the past couple of days. Alright guys, we're back. Sorry for the interruption, but I didn't have a choice with that one. So case in point, I just went into this rest stop. I'm on the New Jersey Turnpike right now, and talk about planning ahead. You know, you go into these rest areas, and there was every junk food on earth that you can imagine in there. Burger King, Dunkin' Donuts, the pretzel place, every type of candy, potato chip, Dorito you could think of, every type of soda, energy drink, juice, sweet tea, you name it. They have it on a shelf in there. So, you know, like I said, I do this trip every week. It's usually between, you know, like 2.5 to 3 hours on some days. And usually I plan my meals accordingly, but when I feel I might need it, I'll throw some beef sticks, some cheese sticks, maybe some peanuts. Make sure I have my coffee, some water with me. Because if you don't plan ahead and you walk into these places just for a pit stop, you're gonna give. Listen, I'm telling the truth. I'm not gonna say I wasn't tempted with it. I'm not saying that. But I promise I didn't buy any. But again, that Burger King smelled good. I'll give them that. They know how to do it. But I didn't cave today, thankfully. But seriously, you have to plan for stuff like that, you know? If you have nothing else and you're that hungry, you're putting yourself in a position where it's so much easier to give in. You know, when I'm walking through that store and I see my old favorites, like I said earlier, guys, you have to put the time into learning, you know, what to eat, how to eat, and it's hard today, you know, because everything, like we say, everything is processed, everything's fast food, but there's ways around it, you know. You don't want to be eating out all the time, but there are going to be times when you do, when you're in a position that you have to. But if you put enough work in and educate yourself a little bit, there's ways around it. You can minimize the damage eating on the road. You know, I'm not saying it's optimal, and I'm not saying it's something that you want to do all the time. That's why it's so important to do some meal prep, you know, and be prepared. Carry things with you that aren't going to do the damage that all the other stuff is going to do. If you find yourself in a position where you have to eat out, even if you have to go into a fast food place, not a good place to be, but if you are, there's always going to be a way that you can figure out how to minimize the damage and make it not so bad. Like I always say, it's not about being 100%. If you can do it 75% of the time, there's always going to be that party. There's always going to be the holidays. There's always going to be. But if you're doing the right thing most of the time, all of that stuff it's not going to set you back in the grand scheme. I was listening to a friend of mine, Chris, 7 Fitness, here on YouTube. Make sure you check him out. 7 Fitness, SEVEN, 7 Fitness. And, he's open and honest about it. He's in phenomenal shape. He's in phenomenal shape. And he's well aware. He's very keen on what he puts in his body, how he eats, what he eats. But he's very open about the fact that, once in a while I do have my treats. And like he said, I heard him say the other day, he'll have, say, some ice cream, as an example. But he's not going to eat a quart of Haagen-Dazs. He'll eat the serving size. He'll eat a cup of it. And then put it down. And that takes discipline. That takes self-discipline. And that's a man with a plan. That's somebody who knows exactly, I can't let myself go with it. Because, again, that's almost, to me, I was never a big ice cream guy, but just insert your favorite food, your favorite junk food. Well, I'm just going to have a little bit of it. That takes effort. That takes discipline, and it takes effort. Because I was a big donut guy, and I can't tell you that I could just sit down and have one donut, because I don't think I can. I really don't think I can. But again, everybody's on a different level. Everybody's, has a certain level of self-discipline. They have a plan. They know what they want to eat, why they want to do it. They have certain goals. And a guy like Chris, he's sticking to it. He knows how he wants to look. He gets his workouts in and everything. He plans it out. But that he puts the effort in. He puts the time in. And that's what we have to do. And it can't be 75% of the time eating the junk, and then 25% of the time saying, oh, I'm going to eat healthy and turn things around. Well, don't even bother. Because that ratio isn't going to work out well for you. But if you flip that ratio and you're doing 75% of the time, you're doing relatively well, eating the whole foods, eating good foods, that other 25% of the time isn't really going to derail you. It's really not. Alright guys, I'm almost coming to the end of my ride. Just have a few more minutes left here, so I'm going to leave it at that. Enough of my rant. I appreciate everybody that was here today. I appreciate everybody that popped in. Hit that like button. You can hit that link tree down below for some cool Old Dog merch. Join the community. We have the channel memberships up and running. Anybody looking for one-on-one weight loss, fitness coaching, you can reach out to me via email. That email address is also going to be under that link. Pretty much everything Old Dog related will be in that link. You can check that out. So again, I appreciate everybody being here. I hope everybody has a good day. Get your reps in. Everybody stay safe. Keep yourself healthy. And I will talk to you guys in the next one. Thanks, guys.